What is going on, YouTube? Dad with a bike, and in today's video we're going to jump on this thing. I've got some errands to run, but we're going to talk about this seat, the thing that cups the buttocks. That is a Bagster Ready Luxe Seat for the Tracer 900 GT. I think they make one for the Tracer 9 GT as well. I'm going to tell you all about it. I've gone some good rides with it, like it. We'll break it down and I'll give you the goods, some of the bads, right after this. Alrighty, y'all, thanks for sticking around. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Help me grow the channel. Tell all your friends. Tell them come check me out. We've got all kinds of content on this sport tour that I ride, which is the Tracer 900 GT, as well as a cruiser that I have, which is a 2017 Harley Davidson Heritage Softail. So good mixture of both worlds. Now today we're going to talk about the Bagster Luxe, oh, dead deer, seat for the Tracer 900 GT or the 9 GT. I guess, you know, Tracer 900, I think they even do them for the FJ09. Let's just call it Tracer.star, so all the Tracers. Now when I first got this motorcycle, it had the standard default OEM seat on it, and immediately I knew after my first long ride, because I did like 1,000 miles, it was no, actually it was like 1,500 mile trip. I got back from that and I said, that didn't suck all that bad for a stock seat, but it needs to be replaced. So I got to hunting, looked around at a couple different options. Sergeant made some. I could have sent the seat off to get it reupholstered, whatever, but I found the Bagster brand seat and the price point was pretty nice. I'm going to link all the details and I'll put the price point up here for what I paid for it. There's two versions of the Bagster. There's the Bagster Regular and the Bagster Luxe. Now the Bagster Luxe is supposed to have this extra uber awesome padded comfort for you and the pillion. I don't normally ride with a passenger, but when I do ride with a passenger, you know, them having a comfortable butt is, you know, also good. I think my wife would appreciate it. So I pulled the trigger and I bought the seat. Now the downside of it is it took forever and a day for the seat to get here. I had this motorcycle and then some kids out scooting around on the motorcycles. Boy, I love seeing that. I love seeing the kids scooting around on motorcycles. Good on you. Some good parenting right there. Anyway, back to the lecture at hand. So it took a while for the seat to actually get to me, but it did, no problem. It's an easy install, right? It's a direct swap for the standard seat. Now the first thing that I noticed about the seat, and here's a little picture, I'll point to it as I'm talking about it, is it raised me up just a little bit, a scotch, not much. The one thing that did fix a little bit of is on the standard Tracers, that OEM seat has a very low front, so if you're on the OEM seat, you hit the brakes, you slide forward. If you ride it for a long time, you tend to slide forward. I think people who own the Tracer family of motorcycles know this problem very well. You hear people complain about it, or you see people complaining about it on the forums, and it's an irritant that bothers a lot of people. It bothered me. And they do make this modification you can add. I forget what it's called. I tried it. I didn't like it, so we're not going to talk about it. And instead I chose to go to the seat because I had heard that other people that had this Luxe seat also said that it fixed to the front pitch a little bit. Anyway, it did for me. So as I sit on this seat, the pitch on the front of the seat is moved up a little bit. The seat itself is a little bit taller, considerably more cushy, and it does have a nice gel foamy pad in it, so it's like super comfortable. I mean, when you sit on it, it's fantastic. And the one that I got is black in color. You can get all kinds of different colors, so depending on the color scheme of your bike, you can get these Bagster Luxe seats in different trim, different colors. It just may take a little bit longer to get, but you can get them. I like the black. It's kind of this carbon look. It goes with the bike itself, so that's why I chose that. But I do have to say that from a comfort perspective, it's pretty dang phenomenal. I mean, I can sit on this thing for hours. I did another 1,500-ish mile trip with this seat, and I had zero comfort, zero pressure point pain at all on this seat. So when I compare this seat and the 1,500 miles that I did to the OEM seat when I did that 1,500 miles, night and day different, because I had some pain points, some pressure, some hot spots on my bum when I did that trip initially with the OEM seat. Now I'm going to part here with you guys for a second. I got to roll in here and get some fuel and then we'll get back out on the road and we'll talk about this a little bit more. Alrighty guys, we're back out on the road and we're continuing to talk about this Bagster seat, this super awesome seat that I'm sitting on. And the one thing that I do have to say is it is uber hot in Texas right now. I'm sitting on a bike, it's 98 degrees right now, or so it says that. It's probably hotter than that when you talk about, you know, the feel like temperature, blah, 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 blah. But the one negative thing about this seat is the amount of heat that it just captures. So if I let this bike sit out in the sun and I don't have something laid over the seat, wow, it's kind of hot. So I got to give it a hot second to cool off on my bum when I get on it. So that's kind of one of the downsides of it, is that it does collect some heat. Now, I've not ridden this in the rain or a downstorm. I've not had it, or a downpour. I've not had it sitting out in the rain when it was raining, so I don't know if the seat itself is going to soak up a bunch of, you know, water if it gets wet. I did wash it a couple times already with the seat on, and it didn't seem to collect any water, so maybe it won't. You know, time will tell, so we'll have to see what it's like after having this thing for a while. But those are the only two negatives that I have to say about this seat. Everything else about this seat, I love. I love how wide it is. I love that it pitches me up a little bit. I love that it keeps me from sliding forward when I grab a handful of brake. I love how cushiony it is. Cushiony, I guess, is that a word? Yeah, sure. Cushiony. And I have to say that overall, the comfort is fantastic. Now, I have not had a Sergeant seat. I had one years ago, and I kind of forget really what that felt like, having a Sergeant seat on, so I can't do a comfort comparison. So if you were to ask me, is this better than getting the Sergeant seat, I don't know. I couldn't tell you that to be certain. I do know that this thing is wicked comfortable, and like I said, I have ridden this thing, or I've taken this out on a 1,500-mile ride, and I had zero hot spots, zero pain points, all that good stuff. So it's a pretty dang comfortable seat, and really I can't say any more than that about it. It's a great seat, looks good on the bike. You can get them relatively inexpensively, which is another interesting thing I have found after moving from the cruiser world over to the sport touring world, is modifications for sport touring sport bikes, we'll call them that because they're relatively the same class-ish. Cost for modifications is significantly less on these motorcycles than on cruisers. If I were doing modifications, on the bike I had before this one, and actually even the one that I have now, that 2017 Harley Davidson Heritage Softail, it's significantly more expensive for me to modify those bikes than it is this bike or a sport bike. So the seat itself, in comparison to what I would have spent on other seats, given the cruiser world, is cheaper. And so for that, I have to say thank you, sport bike, sport touring world, for having some common sense and not making modifications ridiculously expensive. But anyway, I give this Bagster Luxe 2 thumbs up, all the thumbs up. If I've got more thumbs, I'd give those up too, because it's a nice, comfortable seat. So I approve. It is dad approved. And that's it for now. I appreciate anybody who stuck around. If you did stick around, do me a favor, follow on to one of these other videos or one of these playlists. And like I said, reach out and tell all your buddies about the channel. If you've got comments or you've got experiences about seats for this model of motorcycle, or you've got some negative things you want to throw out there about the Bagster Luxe seat, then please do so. Like I said, this is just my opinion, so more opinions are better. And with that, we'll leave you. Y'all have a good one. Y'all be safe. Y'all be nice to one another. Love y'all. Peace.